Hello everyone. Today we are going to have a very important conversation. We are going to talk about a word that can make people feel scared, ashamed, alone. I want you to know right here and right now that if you are thinking about this topic, you are not a bad person. You are not a failure. You are simply a human being who has hit a financial wall. And let me tell you, more people than you can possibly imagine have been exactly where you are today. So let's take a deep breath together. We are going to face this head on, with honesty and with strength. You are stronger than you know. The reason so many people feel this way is because of the myths and the misinformation that swirl around bankruptcy. People whisper about it. They make assumptions. They judge without knowing the facts. This creates a cloud of fear that prevents good people from getting the help they desperately need. My goal today is to part that cloud. We are going to bust the myths. We are going to answer the hard questions. We are going to replace fear with facts. You deserve to understand your options clearly, without shame or judgment. The first step to taking back control of your financial life is getting smart. And that is exactly what we are going to do together. Think of this as a safe space. All right, let's get right to it. What is bankruptcy? Let's put it in the simplest terms possible. Bankruptcy is a legal process that helps people and businesses who can no longer pay their debts. It offers them a fresh financial start. Think of it like this. Your financial life is a boat taking on too much water and sinking. Bankruptcy lets you bail out that water and get the boat floating again. It is a way to eliminate most of your debts, or to create a manageable plan to repay them over time. It is not a punishment. It is a solution. For most individuals, the two most common types are Chapter 7, Chapter 13. Chapter 7 is often called liquidation bankruptcy. It doesn't usually mean you sell everything you own. Instead, the court can discharge many unsecured debts, like credit card bills and medical bills, giving you a clean slate. Chapter 13 is more like reorganization. It's for people with a regular income who can pay back some debt, but need it restructured into one affordable payment over 3 to 5 years. The main goal of both is relief. A question I get all the time is, Suze, who is actually allowed to file for bankruptcy? Is it for everyone? Most people with significant debt can file, but there are some requirements. For a Chapter 7, which wipes out many debts, you generally have to pass the means test. The means test looks at your income and expenses. It checks whether you truly lack the means to pay back your debts. It compares your household income to your state's median income. If your income is below the median, you will likely qualify. Chapter 7 is designed for those who need it most. But what if your income is higher, or you don't pass the means test? That doesn't mean you're out of options. This is where Chapter 13 comes in. Chapter 13 is for people with a steady income who are still overwhelmed. Instead of wiping out debt, you work with the court to create a repayment plan. The plan lasts 3 to 5 years. You make one monthly payment to a bankruptcy trustee. The trustee distributes money to your creditors. At the end of the plan, remaining eligible unsecured debt is often discharged. So even with a good job, bankruptcy can be a lifeline. It's not one type of person. Bankruptcy does not discriminate. It's a tool for anyone in a financial hole they can't climb out of alone. This is the big one, isn't it? If I file for bankruptcy, will all my debts just disappear? The answer is a little more complicated than a simple yes or no. Bankruptcy is very powerful, but it does not make every single type of debt vanish into thin air. It is very effective at eliminating what we call unsecured debts. These are debts that are not tied to any specific piece of property. Credit card debt, medical bills, personal loans, old utility bills. For most people, this is the debt that causes the most stress, and a Chapter 7 bankruptcy can wipe it out completely. However, there are certain debts that are considered non-dischargeable. This means you will still be responsible for paying them even after your bankruptcy case is over. Student loans, which are almost impossible to get rid of in bankruptcy. Recent tax debts. Child support alimony payments. The legal system views these obligations as a higher priority. So if a large portion of your debt is from federal student loans, bankruptcy may not provide you with the complete relief you are hoping for, and you need to be aware of that from the start. Now let's talk about secured debts. This is perhaps the biggest and most terrifying myth about bankruptcy. People picture a moving truck backing up to their house, taking everything they own, furniture and clothes, gone. Let me say this as clearly as I can. This is not what happens for the vast majority of Chapter 7 filers. The law is not designed to leave you destitute and on the street. It's designed to give you a fresh start. You need basic things to start over. The law protects certain property through exemptions. Exemptions are specific laws that vary from state to state and list the types and amounts of property you can keep. Homestead exemption, your home. Car exemption, household goods and furnishings, clothes, tools for work, retirement accounts. Retirement funds like 401(k)s and IRAs have strong federal protections. For most Chapter 7 filers, assets fall within exemption amounts. That means they get to keep it all. This is called a no-asset case. It's the most common type of Chapter 7. It means there aren't assets valuable enough to sell after exemptions. You keep your car, if it's within the exemption limit. You keep your furniture. You keep your retirement savings. Okay, let's face the music on this one. Will bankruptcy hurt your credit score? Yes, it will. There is no sugarcoating that. Filing for bankruptcy is a major negative event on your credit report, and your score will drop significantly. A bankruptcy filing can stay on your credit report for up to 10 years for a Chapter 7 and 7 years for a Chapter 13 from the filing date. Lenders will see it, and it will make getting new credit difficult and more expensive, especially in the first couple of years. This is a serious consequence, and you need to go into this with your eyes wide open. However, I want you to think about this differently. If you are in a position where you are considering bankruptcy, what does your credit score likely look like right now? Chances are, it is already in bad shape. You have probably been missing payments, have accounts in collections, and your credit cards are maxed out. Your score may already be so low that you cannot get approved for any new credit anyway. In this situation, your credit score is the least of your problems. Your real problem is the crushing debt that is causing the bad credit score in the first place. Bankruptcy addresses the root problem. Here is the part that most people miss. While bankruptcy causes an initial sharp drop in your score, deciding to file for bankruptcy is a huge step. It is not something to be done on a whim. Before you even think about calling an attorney, there are some very important things you need to do. First, you must get brutally honest with yourself and your budget. You need to track every single penny you earn and every single penny you spend for at least a month or two. Use an app, a notebook, a spreadsheet. I don't care how you do it, just do it. You cannot make a smart decision until you know the absolute truth about where your money is going. This is non-negotiable. Once you have a clear picture of your finances, you can see the size of the gap between what you earn and what you owe. Is there any way to close that gap? Could you get a second job, even temporarily? Can you cut expenses to the bone? I am talking about canceling subscriptions, eating every meal at home, and stopping all non-essential spending. Sometimes, a period of extreme austerity can help you get back on track. You should also try calling your creditors. Ask them about hardship programs, lower interest rates, settlement options. You must explore every other possible avenue before turning to bankruptcy. This is also the time to gather all your financial documents. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have stared the scary word bankruptcy right in the face and took away its power. We replaced myths with facts and fear with knowledge. Bankruptcy is not a life sentence of financial failure. It is not something to be ashamed of. It is a legal tool. It is a lifeline. For many people, it is the most responsible and courageous step to reclaim their future. It says, you will no longer be a slave to your debt. You are ready to start fresh, with a clean slate and a wiser perspective. If you're feeling the weight of the world, please hear me. You are not alone. Millions of hardworking Americans have walked this path. They rebuilt their credit. They saved for the future. They found financial peace. They survived. They thrived. You can too. Go claim it. I know you can.